As part of a project on environmental enrichment strategies in sow group housing, here are the impressions of producers who have tried it. How do the sows react to the enrichments when first introduced and then later on?
Just like anything else new, they get pretty active around there for a while, and it slowed down after that, but they still did keep up to it. 3 different items that I had, they all reacted a little different, each one of them.
The younger the animal, the more interest they have in it. The sows, it seems to reduce agitation around feeding time. But when we were just walking through around 10 o'clock, if they're full bellies, they'd rather have a nap, but in the afternoon they start chewing on it a bit more again.
Initially, when the enrichment was introduced, there was 12 to 16 sows in the pen. Every one of the sows wanted a go at it. They would come up to the enrichment and they would play with it, and then one sow would leave and another sow would line up to play with it. So they were actually really fascinated. After the initial few weeks, they usually played with it after feeding. They would eat and then move on, but they would play with it every now and then, but not as much. They were not as fascinated with it as the initial introduction.
Did you notice any reduction in pen aggression since using the enrichments?
I think so. Around feeding it, they're less anxious. If instead of chewing on each other's vulvas, they chew more on the chain or something. It's, right around feeding time, if some sows are standing by the trough and if another sow walks by, they'll turn and just give a quick nip, and it kind of helps a bit with that. Sure. Doesn't eliminate it, but it reduces it. Okay.
Actually, the bully sows were playing with the enrichments rather than biting on their pin mates. So I think that was a plus. I thought it was a plus. We saved some meat and they eat some wood.
Which enrichment was the most popular and how durable are the enrichments?
I would say chain for everything, every single group, yeah.
Okay. And you think it's
even with the chew toy, the chain hanging on the bottom, they chew on that more than the pig toy. But the toy has lasted, well, since last February, so that's over about a year or
just under a year.
Yeah.
They gravitate to the chain most of all, yes.
And the wood, would you change any of that?
It's wood, like it's gnarled down quite a bit. It's lasted the longest, well, I guess other than the chain, but I mean, it really has lasted quite a bit. They took them a while to come onto it, maybe because it wasn't to the shape of their mouth, but now that it is, they really do gravitate to it.
Well, 7 or 8 months later, the chain is still intact. The wood is almost eaten down. I think probably after talking with a few of the guys, we should probably replace the wood every 4 or 5 months. It surprised me. I was expecting the wood to be gone in 3 or 4 weeks, but it's still there. It's December now, 2017, and we put it in April 2017. So the wood is probably, the chain of course is going to last. The plastic wore out a little bit more. I think the wood was the best enrichment, I think, because I think they had more satisfaction in chewing that wood rather than the chain. They tend to get bored with the chain a little bit faster, and the plastic enrichment, they didn't seem to be able to get a good bite out of it. I think the wood was they got more satisfaction out of biting the wood. That's what we found.
Would you recommend the installation of enrichments in sow group housing to other producers?
I would actually. And actually, what I would recommend too is that if you had some easy, if you could install the enrichments easy, you could change up your enrichments. Like put a new enrichment every few months or every few weeks if you had it. Something really simple that you could just click it onto a chain and then move on to the next and move them around. Something that they won't be bored with, and that think it'll be something new that they can challenge the sow to buy something new again at.
It's a good idea, and like I mean, if you just have to hang a chain, a chain is fairly inexpensive, and if it works good and gets the aggression out of the sows, why not?
For the cost, I think it's a great investment. It reduces aggression, not necessarily aggression at mixing, but during when they're just during gestation, it seems to be a lot calmer in there with the toys. And it was really, really simple to install. It only took a couple hours and it's just a bit of chain. Once I get to staffing, I want to put a chain in each pen.